was indeed a most bizarre incident born of a curious advertisement and a commonplace killing at the edge of town.
Pipe in hand, Sholmes looked down at the thick, rolling fog outside our window. I wonder exactly how many mysteries are out there, hidden within this bed of fog, he said. Indeed, a most bizarre incident, born of a curious advertisement. A hellhound's mad gallop through the shadows of a serial murder. An executed man's graveyard resurrection in the dead of night. And a commonplace killing in a small, forgotten room at the edge of town. There is, naturally, always another side to every case, of which most remain ignorant. And it is that other side which compels me to the scene of the crime, Wilson. So quickly now, take your hat and let's be on our way, my dear fellow. For our adventure is not over yet. Come, the game is afoot.
Sorry, I was thinking, that whole, someone dying in a forgotten room, I'm wondering if that has to do with either, the guy who was killed via gas by Shamspear or the incident on the ship. 8 days after that earth-shattering trial and Cosmo regaining his memory. We were in the foyer of one of London's most luxurious hotels, the Great Waterloo Hotel. Ooh. Professor Mikotoba is due to arrive at any moment. Yes, I'm so glad we got here in time. I forgot this song keeps reminding me of Green Sleeves. Also, I'm noticing with the little avatar thing I made, it kind of looks like whenever I talk, they get spooked. Blah! Blah! Susato-san hasn't been the same since what happened. Not that I'm surprised. But you thought Kazuma-sama's father. Do you suppose my father knew that he was actually the mass murderer, the professor? I knew that's what she was thinking about. There's a good chance, I'd say. I mean, they did come here to London together 16 years ago. Yes, that's true. Come to think of it, didn't you say that Professor Mikotoba knew about Kazuma going missing in Hong Kong? That's right, but for some reason he wasn't at liberty to talk to me about it. That probably means he knows about Kazuma showing up here in London with amnesia, and that he's regained his memory. Whoop. That, what? Wait. Okay, the one in the hat is, I'm pretty sure it's the dad, but the guy in the black suit, is that the judge? The Jikoku man? Father! Hello, Susato, how are you? I'm very well, thank you. We're delighted you arrived safe and sound. It is the judge. He's got little Ace Attorney badges as his buttons. And is that a prosecutor badge on your tie? Hello, Mr. Naruhodo. Very kind of you to take the trouble to meet us here. Oh no, not at all. It's my pleasure. We've heard all about your extraordinary exploits here in London, you know. Wait, he's also judge. The news has crossed the seas. It has? It's so weird seeing a judge outside of the courtroom. Granted, there's Courtney from, I can't remember her last name, but she was a judge in the Ace Attorney Investigation sequel. I always look forward to reading the monthly reports that arrive at the steamships from Britain. I see. Well, thank you. Who is this? And why do I feel as though I've seen him before? He's the judge! I take it from your expression you can't quite place me. In that case, how about a little reminder, Seishiro? A firm tap should do it. Yes. A firm tap? What? Here we go then. Oh! You bring your gavel everywhere? I hereby pronounce it defended. We are not getting down to her. Guilty. You're... Him. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruto. How do you get your beard like that? Your Excellency. Hello, Judge Shikoku. How are you? It's been a long time. Oh, good, you remember now. That really did the trick. Blam! Guilty! Only I was declared not guilty, wasn't I? And there was no laughing at the time. So, London again after all this time. Hard to believe it's been 10 years. To be honest, I never thought I'd be back. Neither did I. I did imagine Japan would ever be invited to an international symposium. Is it? Sorry, I just noticed the window. It's cloudy outside. In the game, anyway. Oh, really? I thought anyone did, to be honest. Did, to be honest. It's all thanks to you, isn't it, Seishiro? What are you talking about, you? Ah! Of course, Judge Chikoku. He must complete the set. He's the other man who, 16 years ago, came to London with Kazuma's father and Professor Mikotoba. He's the third visiting scholar. Well, all those passport checks and luggage searches at the border took a lot of time. I must say I'm very envious of your ministerial status. You didn't have to go through any of that, did you? Oh, I knew you were jealous. Ha! So, ministerial status? Yes, didn't you know? Seishiro here is also Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs. Really? Oh, is that why he was in charge of my case, specifically, in the very first case of the game? Also, why do I get the feeling this dude's like the final boss? Somehow, like alongside Strongheart. It was his personal insistence that allowed you to take Kazuma's place here on this study tour. Guilty! Well, thank you very much. He's really every bit as important as he looks. Oh yes, now Naruhodo. I received a telegram from Lord Strongheart yesterday. You did? It appears that some things came to light in a trial you were involved with 8 days ago. About what happened 10 years ago. That tragedy. Yes, could you tell us any more about it? $43. So, okay, math. 25? 26? 27 years old when he became a dad? They're the same age? I thought he was older. Like maybe 50s or something. So, how was the voyage here? Well, 50 days at sea is a long time by anyone's standards. But it wasn't as bad when we first came 16 years ago. No, that's true. Then I truly wondered if we wouldn't be drifting in the vast ocean for the rest of our lives. This time we followed the same route as you, so we were able to relax and enjoy the experience. So you stopped in France's beautiful capital, Paris. Lucky! We did, yes, though only for one night. And yesterday evening we left the port of Dunkirk for Dover. Just in time for the symposium, in fact. It starts tomorrow! It's wonderful you were invited to attend such an important event. I'm very proud of you, Father. It's thanks to Seishiro here. 16 years ago, he managed to ingratiate himself with Britain's Attorney General. Strongheart? I'm sure that's why he was invited. And I suppose you could say I'm something of an appendage by default. Appendage? I've never heard... Okay. I don't remember if I've ever heard the phrase appendage used like this, so... Speak for yourself, Eugene. You are close friends with the professor of forensic science at a major hospital. Yes, well, I'd rather not dredge all that up, really. No, there's been a lot of water under the bridge since then, but it doesn't bring him back. Cosmo's father, I suppose. He was in the hospital? The professor, the killer who took the lives of 5 members of the British aristocracy, was actually Cosmo's father, wasn't he? The music! That's correct! Genshin Aksugi. Genshin? Is it? Okay, I heard the word Genshin before, like Genshin Impact, but I wonder if there's a pun in the name here. Genshin. You knew, I presume, Father? Yes. He was a close friend at the time. Genshin came to Britain as a police detective. He was studying investigative techniques at Scotland Yard. I've never understood what drove the man to commit such heinous acts. It was a closed trial, so the public never knew the truth, and he was executed with little ado. To this day, very few people know what really happened, even in our homeland. What about Kazuma? Did he know? Did he know the truth about his father? No. He was told his father passed from sickness. However, I suspect he may have had his doubts. Why? As you know, I tried to guide Kazuma growing up, as if he were my own son. Why are you crossing your arms? And one day he came to my office at the university and said, I've decided. Oh, that's a new pose. I want to travel to Great Britain and study there. Do you think he wanted to come here to investigate his father's death? I don't know. Yeah. But when I looked into his eyes, I didn't know there was no way I'd be able to stop him. Something else came to light that trial the other day. Oh? Wait, no, wrong person. Oh, what? Well, having disappeared in Hong Kong and been missing for almost a year, Kazuma since turned up here in London, working as the apprentice of Lord Van Zeeks. What? What? That's news to us! So, Lord Strongheart's telegram neglected to mention that part. Strongheart, don't kill me for telling them! As you know, we both thought Kazuma had died on the steamship during our voyage to Great Britain. But he didn't die. He's alive. As you knew, didn't you? In actual fact, no. What I did know is that when your ship docked in Hong Kong, he mysteriously vanished. We sent a team of investigators to Hong Kong to try and ascertain what happened, but to no avail. But he's still alive? And here in London? I never dared to even dream it. Why did the young man not make contact? The government and the police have been chasing clues fruitlessly for months now. Ask Strongheart! Well, it seems that he was suffering from amnesia. What? Amnesia? When we first came across him again here in London, he didn't know who either of us were. I see. He only regained his memory 8 days ago. This is unbelievable. Yes, it's quite miraculous. I wonder why Lord Strongheart didn't let us know. I must speak with him urgently. I wonder how Cosmo's been these past few days. Would it be wrong of us to go and visit him? Do we know where he is? That began 16 years ago now. It's a distant memory, really. It was Eugene here, Genshin Aksugi and myself. We were the original three. The first judicial scholars from Japan to travel overseas to study. Ocean voyages were not what they are today, I can tell you. 16 years ago, things were tough for their generation. Your father was an exceptionally fine medical student at Yuma University at the time, you know, young lady. Yes, grandmother told me. So, one was a detective, this dude was a hospital, and I'm guessing Jikoku went to judge stuff? He went to do research at a great London hospital to study autopsy. Practically unheard of in Japan. Yes, it was an eerie place. Sandwiched in the back of a prison and a burial ground. You wouldn't have to have been stationed near the area where the professor was buried, were you? Not more talk of graves. Very often there's no one willing to deal with bodies following autopsy work. So you see, autopsy labs have something of an unavoidable relationship with graveyards and prisons. Not my cup of tea at all. Do you remember that Scottish prison governor? Caden? Are you talking to me or to Jikoku? Yes, but then of course in our 6th year here, everything changed with that dreadful case. When Genshin was arrested for a series of the most gruesome murders. I simply couldn't believe it. I'd known the man for years. Knowing the Ace Attorney series, what if it's one of those things where the dad was actually innocent and someone else framed him for it? I was a witness at the secret hearing and I tried to speak in his defense, but you went a little too far and ended up facing charges yourself. Huh? Well, suffice it to say, we're sent back. Huh? So, wait. So, did you suffer the same penalty I would have if I failed? Like, if I can't defend my client, not only do they get the death sentence, but I get sent back to Japan. There was nothing more we could do to save Genshin. He was a lost cause, sadly. Well, if you'll excuse us now. Yes, I'd like to get this trunk up to my room as soon as possible. Is there a person in there? Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have held you up here. I'll call for the porter then. Just wait here. That was fast. Sato-san's gone off at a run. Meow. I'd like to stay and talk more, but I do have various preparations to make for tomorrow. Yes, of course. It must be a big responsibility representing our entire country. I wish you the best of luck. Naruhodo. I hope you'll keep an eye on Susato for me. Keep looking after her, we obviously have been. Are you going to die? I mean, if anyone's looking after anyone, it's her looking after me. Well, I do appreciate you being there for her. After all, I've been a miserable father to her. I've thoroughly let her down. Sorry? What do you mean? Well, it was 16 years ago that I started my long study tour here in Britain, as you know. The very year Susato was born. Oh yeah, it's like, congratulations, you're a father! Off to London! The birth of my daughter was the most joyous event of my life, but... well, sadly it was accompanied by the most tragic event of my life, too. Right, Susato hinted at something like that. It was a rather turbulent time at home. Anyway, I won't bore you with the details. The point is, I became rather less dependable than befits a grown man. And it was then that Seishiro offered me the opportunity to study here in Great Britain. I was too worried about you to leave you behind. Though perhaps I was a little heavy-handed when it came to persuading you to accompany me to London. So that's what happened in a nutshell. And that's also the reason why I now feel compelled to give my daughter as many opportunities as I dare. Though the world does not readily afford young women such things, I must say. I completely understand, Professor. One other thing, Naruhodo. If I may be so bold, I have a favor to ask you. Really? What can I do? Well, the thing is, God damn it! Hold the fucking phone! That's the jury guy! I don't remember which juror he was, but he was in the first court case in London. I'm sorry that took so long. Mrs. Sato. Now then, allow us to take your bags. Does anyone else recognize him? Like, not even Mrs. Sato or Ryunosuke? Allow me to take your bags. One moment, if you please, Porter. Of course, sir. He has a camera? That machine around your neck. It's a camera, I believe. Does everyone have those here? Quite right, sir. Just 5 shillings for a lovely photograph to commemorate a wonderful stay at the hotel, sir. Well, I think given the occasion, we could justify the expense. Oh, yes, of course. Oh, you look nervous as all hell. I'd like to thank you for coming with me, Mr. Naruhodo. It's really made Father very happy, I think. Oh, well, I'm pleased then. But we were interrupted before. Hold on 1 second. Let me adjust a little thing with this. Maybe? It might be a little more sensitive. Like so. It caught my mouse being, nudged. Professor Mikotoba was about to ask me something. Shall we return to Baker Street, then? I expect Iris will have some delicious tea waiting for us. Yes, let's go. Sorry, hold on. Let me do a little bit more adjustments. I'm getting more and more anxious about Kazuma, though. Perhaps I'll try to meet with Lord Strongheart later and ask about him. Wrong button. Sorry, I was wondering if there's anything I could, I don't know, just in case. Look at those cases just left there on that trolley. Aren't they worried about thieves? I know I am. Haven't you seen the porter over there? Don't worry, he's obviously keeping an eye on everything. So it's a trap, designed to catch any chancers who might be tempted. Why did the porter give me such a scathing look now? Well, some might say you look a little suspicious with your jet black clothes. What about the guys in the back? Like, they've got black suits. Not everyone clad in black is some sort of ninja with intent to steal. Have you seen all those sparkling jewels up there? They must have gathered every gem in the world for that. Ah, it's called a chandelier, I believe. It's designed to provide elegant lighting in large, spacious rooms like this. So they had to gather every gem in the world just to illuminate one room? It's probably electric light bulbs that are actually throwing the light. If I try to hang something like that from the ceiling in the office, it would be scraping off the floor. I think perhaps chandeliers aren't for you, Mr. Naruhodo. Yeah, the office would be a little too small. That desk is known as the hotel reception. Anyone wanting to spend the night has to report there to sign in for their stay. Oh, so do you think that's the head clerk behind the desk? Yes, I'm sure it must be. I'd love to stay in a grand hotel like this for a little while, wouldn't you? Just know what it's like. If the hotel fee was paid through our stipend, I'm afraid it might bankrupt our homeland. True. London gives the word expensive a whole new meaning. Looks a lot like the Eiffel Tower. Look at that, it's a picture of the Crystal Tower. Well, the Great Exhibition is one of Britain's most prestigious achievements in recent years. I wonder how tall it is. It really does represent the pinnacle of scientific achievement. There's a 20-meter tall chimney on the bathhouse near my lodgings at Yume University. The attendant there is always boasting that it's the tallest object in the neighborhood. I'm sure. Do you know that over the channel in Paris there's a tower that's 300 meters tall? The Eiffel Tower! Nani? How many times taller? And if that's that tall, how does it draw properly? The smoke would get stuck, sure. Oh, like he's thinking it's a chimney. I don't think it's that sort of tower, Mr. Naruto. Is there a certain order I'm supposed to visit these places? I'll just go up the list. Ooh! Here's the final draft of the opening address for tomorrow's proceedings. I've supplemented your original with the figures you've asked for from the yard. I see. Excellent work. Thank you. You're welcome, my lord. What's Lord Van Zeek's doing here? My, there seems to be an awful lot of tension in the air, wouldn't you say? They hate each other? This place is stifling enough as it is. We really don't need any more tension. Too late! My apologies. I didn't notice you come in. Your small stature and stark dress make you all but invisible to me. Hey! No. It's entirely my fault for wearing black, I'm sure. You know, Scary, think about a costume change. From now on, you must dress in white from head to toe whenever you come here. Now then, Mr. Naruto. Wait, wrong voice. Yes, my lord, I'm right here. Kill me. Is something wrong? Don't spank me with that. Perhaps a little too hot in here for you. No, not at all. I mean, I've never experienced a room at such a perfect temperature. If you're sure, the beads of sweat carving their way down your face seem to suggest otherwise. Because of the daggers you're staring at me. As you're no doubt aware, my International Forensic Science Symposium begins tomorrow. In fact, your father arrived in London earlier today, I hear, madame. Oh, yes, that's right, my lord. He's extremely honored to have been invited. There he is. I'll leave the remaining preparations for the meeting room in your capable hands then, Lord Van Zeeks. I will attend at once. Hello. Bye. He gave you a very cold stare as you left, didn't he? I know, but I haven't done anything, have I? These past few days, my feet have barely touched the ground, I must say. Even floating everywhere? My dedicated right hand of many years was recently pulled out of action in spectacular fashion. Courtney Scythe? I'm sorry to hear that. Is your left hand still of service? Mr. Naruto, he's talking about Dr. Scythe. Called it. Oh. I'm sorry about that. I was just, Fear not. You've done nothing wrong. Dr. Scythe's own wrongdoing precipitated the situation. You needn't concern yourself with it any further. That would be a lot easier to do if it weren't for the piercing stare you're giving me. Lord Van Zeeks is doing an admirable job of holding the fort. Though disturbingly, his apprentice has been missing since Kazuma's missing? What's become of Kazuma-sama now? Are you all the same age? Oh, he's 10 years older. Wait, 43, 43, 53, 33. I'll say it's an army of threes, but there's 4 people. Not long ago, visitor numbers to the Great Exhibition exceeded 30 million. 30 mil? Are there even that many people in the world? As a comparison, Mr. Naruhodo, the population of the imperial capital in Tokyo is 2 million. We'll be opening the International Forensic Science Symposium in the exhibition's main auditorium. This event has been 2 years in the making. 2 years of preparations and negotiations with other countries. Sounds like a tremendous achievement. Congrats! The 20th century will see the wholesale adoption of forensic investigation techniques. And cooperation between policing organizations around the globe will be essential. Which is why... Birds! There they are. This landmark first symposium has to be hosted here at the heart of our great British Empire, in order that the Scotland Yard can become the leading investigative organization in the New World. He's the same as ever, I see. That passion of his was quite something. Please don't go on an hours-long ramble. You're every bit as passionate in your own way, I'm sure. I'm the only person in this country who truly cares about the future that embraces forensic science. It was my intention to become Her Majesty's Attorney General and reform the Yard from the ground up. So the disgrace of the forensics investigation team has been a bitter blow to my ambitions. I first established the forensic investigation team a year ago, experimentally to start with. With Dr. Scythe at the helm, it was steadily accruing an impressive record of achievement. I was on the verge of changing its name and elevating its status to a full-blown forensic investigation department. And can you not do that now? Obviously. Nobody wants to hear anything about it at the moment. Even I can't keep the story out of papers. 6 million Londoners will be cursing forensic science now. This incident will set back our country's advancement in the field by a good 10 years. Oops. Unintended repercussions of our trial. We simply couldn't have overlooked what had happened, though. Of course not. We should all be grateful to you both for fucking up my plans. Anyway, I'll still reform the city's policing when I become Attorney General. This might delay my plans, but I won't alter them. Nothing will stand in my way. About Lord Van Zeek's apprentice. Ah yes, that came as a surprise to me, I must say. That you and he are old friends. How did he become an apprentice to Lord Van Zeek's? It came about 3 months ago. An unidentified Asian man was apprehended by border police. They found him hiding aboard a large goods vessel. Right, so he stowed away to get here. He had no papers to identify him, no passport, and he was suffering from amnesia too. Other than the fact he was clearly of Eastern descent, there were no clues as to who he was. So I decided to assign him to Lord Van Zeek's. That way I could keep an eye on him. But then, why the mask? I didn't want to burden Lord Van Zeek's with tiresome explanations about why he had an Eastern apprentice. What? One, I guess it makes sense since the Van Zeek's has a whole, all Japanese people are bad because I'm a tragic racist with a tragic racist backstory. But at the same time, it's like, what? Is it really a burden to explain? Because it would be so much easier to explain why he was wearing a mask. I thought it would be funny. He's proving to be a great help to Lord Van Zeek's. I have high hopes for his future. By the way, do you know where he's gone? No idea, but I believe he's left London for the time being. What? I take it you also didn't know. No? That the man's father was one of our country's most infamous criminals, I mean. Oh, I thought you meant you. I take it you don't know where he is either. Genshin Asogi. What we learned from that trial 8 days ago was a huge shock. Finding out my friend's father was... The music's gone! Oh yes, Genshin Asogi. The professor case 10 years ago caused a great stir here in Britain. There were such awful murders, and unprecedented. Using a ferocious dog... That's news to me! Is this where the whole Hound of Baskerville thing came in? Using a ferocious dog as a murder weapon. And no one would have believed the culprit was a foreign student invited to study here by the government. So the true identity of the killer couldn't be made public then. It can't be made public now. Oops. Nobody in your country knows it was him, and neither do the citizens of London. The main motivation was to avoid aggravating relations between our nations at the time. Correct. However, it has to be noted that there were some supporters of the professor's apparent cause. Huh? Supporters of a mass murderer? The majority of the man's victims were a blight on the aristocracy of the day. Somewhat ironically, their deaths actually benefited society as a whole. Or so a fair few thinkers in London believed anyway. Right. But it was still murder though. Cool motive! Still murder. Seems very similar, doesn't it? To the idea of the Reaper of the Bailey. Do I have anything to... Nope. Okay, bye! Oh! 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 Ooh! He's here! He's here! The mask! The mask! Wait! I don't know if I'm saying this right. What was that? A man screaming in the most unflattering way. Do you think? Could it have been Mr. Sholmes? Oh my, I do hope not. Ah! Who? For a second I thought the kid crying was just the kid from the witness from the previous case in a wig. Wait, is that Italian? I don't do it anymore. French? Mon ami, mon ami. Stop this disgraceful display, huh? Who are these people? Look at their hair, it's bright red. I think they must be clients of Mr. Sholmes. Right, you two. You're coming with me now. Down to the clink. No, not in prison! It's dark and damp and I don't like it. Whoa. I don't know if I could do that with my glasses. Boff, the darkness, it is my friend. I am not scared. But you're always scared of the dark. Shut your mouth, you idiot. I will sit quietly in the dark and plan our next daring east. I don't like it. Well, tough. We'll finish this down in the yard. Now move! I think you killed him. Why then, Ginny? Have fun! Oh yeah, thanks Iris. And thanks. You're a great detective. Wait. If Sholmes is on that case, I get the feeling they were wrongfully convicted. Maybe. Gina makes a fine detective herself, doesn't she? Oh, Susie! And Runo! Hello, Iris. We're home. Well, did you find your daddy? Yes, we arrived at the hotel just before he and his friend. Can we address the mask over there? Oh, well that's great news. I hope I'll get to see my daddy again soon. Oh no! Yes, of course. Your daddy's dead! Dr. John H. Wilson. So, Iris, all that remains now is the greatest problem with no demand. What?! I'm sorry. Like, one, nice hair dye. Two, for a brief second, I thought he was Ronald McDonald. But before we concern ourselves with that, I believe some tea is in order, don't you, my dear fellows? Just point at him and start screaming red. There's something wrong, Mr. Naruto. Oh, he dyed his eyebrows too. Do I have a crumb of such like on my face? Not so much on your face as on your head. Come along then, everyone. I've brewed a lovely special blend. Time for tea. Whatever's going on here today. In that case, let us sit and drink now. For I am, in fact, expecting a guest later today. With a mask? Speaking of drinking, hold on. Let me open this. Mr. Sholmes, who were the two gentlemen that were here before? Hairstylists? Oh, just a pair of petty criminals. Nothing of significance. Of course, they have to make a living somehow. And when the mood takes me, I'm willing to turn a blind eye to all manner of infractions. What? When the mood takes you, do you mean as in whenever you get, if they bribe you? All manner of infractions. But when such fellows set their sights on Mr. Herlock Sholmes, well, that's when their luck runs out. Oh my, you were the target of a crime, Mr. Sholmes? They swapped my shampoo with hair dye. But I quickly devised a plan to entrap them and deliver them to our young detective ally. Excuse me.
You should have asked Gregsy to come too. We could have had an arresting tea party.
I did send word, but no answer was forthcoming. The man is consummately in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's a word for it, I'm sure. Aha, I have it! A bungler, that's the word. It's a good job he's not here to hear you say that. So those redheads have been up to no good. Is this racist against redheads? I wonder what the men did. What was that about the greatest of problems known to man? Is it another fiendishly intricate case? How should I best explain it? Are you aware of the theory of evolution by natural select? Wait, Charles Darwin? Well, I think I've heard talk of it somewhere. It's a revolutionary scientific theory that was newly proposed 40 years ago. According to its author, Mr. Darwin, we humans were once apes who lived in the treetops. Wasn't it? I guess that's one way to put it, but wasn't it that we have the same ancestor as apes? Wait, what? We were apes? Indeed. And from the very moment those apes descended from the canopy to live as humans, it has been our lot to be at the mercy of the greatest problem known to man. Why is my hair red? Our lot? What is this great problem, Mr. Sholmes? Why is it not obvious, my dear madame? The problem of rent! I mean, he's not wrong. Also, we're renting this place? Ha! But did you not receive a rather large sum of money from Madame Tuspels the other day? Pshaw, a large sum? One potted egg for Iris and a new motor car for me later, and all of it has quite disappeared, I assure you. You got a car?
Honestly, Early, you know you squandered it.
Yes, well anyway, 2 days ago, I discovered the answer to man's greatest problem, for the coming month at least. What was the answer? Why, there is a substantial clue before your very eyes. Your hair! Don't tell me. Let me see. Humans are sorry creatures, unable to see what is in front of their noses. Let me give you some assistance. Don't look, but observe me very closely. There is one particular feature about my person that has changed. You should notice it in the end, I think. I've noticed it already! I noticed at the beginning. In the end. It's been stabbing me in both eyes from the start. I think we might need another clue before we uncover the full answer, Mr. Naruto. Are you... I don't know if you're just playing along or if you genuinely don't notice it. Thanks for the hint. I'll be tearing my hair out as the charade goes on much longer. There goes the music. Isn't it about time you told us the truth? Just over a week ago, you said to us, I will now tell you wait. Alright, I guess sort of try to take it a little easier on my throat. I'm gonna try to not voice over flashbacks. I might forget it from time to time. That case aboard the SS Burdia in January. Kazuma wasn't killed, and you knew he wasn't dead. So what was really going on? I am so high right now. The fellow was unconscious for a very long time. If he hadn't regained consciousness when he did, his life would have been in mortal peril. Are you lying? Of course. A side effect of the prolonged comatose state was amnesia, as you now know. This feels fictional. Like the whole amnesia being a side effect of comatose. It was a simple enough task to silence the crew. How? Did you hold their snake hostage? After they carried him out of the cabin, I assembled them in the lobby area. Oh, I guess this isn't a flashback? Then I made them swear to leave him unconscious and have him unlaid from the ship in Hong Kong as a murdered corpse. Horrible. It was necessary to find some material with which to persuade the crewmen to keep their word, of course. You held their snake hostage! And yeah, why'd you do it in the first place? I will be at liberty to elaborate in due course. Why not now? But for the time being, I would like to reassure you. I didn't foresee subsequent events. Like your hair becoming ketchup? What events? His disappearance in Hong Kong. I believe I may have made a gross error of judgment. You think? Mr. Sholmes. Okay, now can we look at it? The mask Cosmo wore when he was assigned to Lord Van Zieg's. Why is it here? Oh. When he cast it aside after the trial the other day, I just picked it up. We gotta give it back to him, I suppose. But he has his memory back now, doesn't he? And I can't help feeling he might turn around and tell me coldly to wear it myself. But isn't he your best friend? Anything? Eh? It's good as Professor Mikotoba arrived safely, isn't it? Yes, it's wonderful. And the fact that Father has been invited to this most important international event really makes me very proud to be his daughter. Your father, Judge Chikoku, and us. And Kazuma, of course. There's an ever-increasing number of Japanese here in Britain's capital, isn't there? Well, yes, I suppose so. But London does have a population of 6 million, so I think we're still a minority. Satsu-san's father, who came here as a visiting student 16 years ago, and Kazuma. It's almost as if some great power has been at work, drawing them here across the ocean to London. It's called the writers of this video game. I feel as though the waters are starting to swell again. That's it! Okay. Look at my badge! Tell me, Mr. Naruto, is this the first time you've shown me this particular trinket? No! You commented earlier that might be a collar for a giraffe! with my saying. That is a colorful breed of miniature canine with a particularly long neck. Were to precipitate a "here we go again" from your lips, we could be sure it was not the first time. Deja vu. Da 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 da. Deduction, you see, my dear fellow. Deduction. Okay, oh, he's still here. Look at my badge. Can I show you this? I'm the Lord Chief Justice here. I'm not here to offer advice about evidence. Oh. Especially when the evidence in question is so dumb. So that's the real reason. He just called my badge boring. I guess I just had to... Okay, I guess I have to look at everything. I managed to... I think I've read this before. Please don't do that! There's all sorts on these shelves. Chemistry apparatus, books, papers, lots of things I've never seen before. It's all heaped up so high I can't help feeling that the whole lot's gonna topple over. It looks as though it might topple, and yet it doesn't. The epitome of Mr. Sholmes' brilliance. I don't get it. As it happens, I'm quite well practiced when it comes to stacking shelves myself. Just the other day, the shelf in my office finally gave way under the strain, though. It looks as though it might topple, and it does. The epitome of your disarray. I really don't get it. The violin, the one he found being sold for a song at a pawnbrokery. Shuddy some... I honestly don't remember either. She features the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. World famous Stradivarius. That was the word. What? Stradivarius, Mr. Naruhodo. Stradivore. Are you even trying? We'll come back to this another time. Wait, was that newspaper always there? This looks like last week's edition. What's that article circled in red? It's in an advertisement column. It says... To the red-headed Red-headed League? I don't know. I've never heard of it before, but... You! Is something on my face? It's on your head! Clearly this has something to do with that lively hair. On account of the bequest of the late Ezekiel Hopkins of Lebanon, Pennsylvania? There is now another vacancy open which entitles a member of the League to a salary of £4 a week for purely nominal services. All red-headed men who are sound in body and mind and above the age of 21 are eligible. Apply in person on the morning of the 31st at the large park on Lime Street. Get paid $4 a week if you're a redhead. I hope that hair dye is semi-permanent. Like, it doesn't come off after just one shower. Looks as though someone circled an advertisement in this paper. To the Red-Headed League? Does that strike you in some way? Oh gee, I wonder. I was thinking that just maybe it might be related to your bright red hair. So, at last you've learned to apply my methods, Mr. Naruhodo. I've seen it since the start of this whole segment. The game is only now giving me the opportunity to point it out. Sorry. In the first instance, a quite indispensable observation. Believe me, I could have seen that hair with my eyes shut. So then, allow me to regale you with the tale of my latest exploits. Regale or boast? I went to a ketchup factory. So what is this Red-Headed League, which seems to be the subject of the advertisement? You noticed it in the paper then. You circled it! That, my dear fellow, was going to be the source of this month's rent payment. It was. How? According to the advertisement. I don't know. Are we past the deadline, though? The Red-Headed League is a distinguished institution of fellows of unspecified governance. In fact, the only condition for becoming a member is having red hair. That doesn't entirely surprise me.
But listen to what the lucky redheads receive once they join. An unconditional salary of £4 a week.
Oh my, £4 a week? Why? What are they paying you for? That I don't know. No details are given in the advertisement. It's for crime, isn't it? But surely every red-headed person in this country will be flocking to join.
All right, Susie. There's no time to lose. I'll put in my application at once. Your hair is pink. Your hair's black.
So will I, just on the off chance. That might be stretching a point, I think.
Trouble is, you have a fixed number of members, you see.
Oh, I see. So once a certain number of people have joined, no one else can. But as luck would have it, one member recently passed away. Were they murdered? It wasn't particularly lucky for them in question. So you decided to try to join his place? Correct. I mean, look at me! Have you ever seen such a red-headed fellow? No. So why? Why did it have to go so wrong? I'm pretty sure, I think they've seen you before and went, wait, you're a natural blonde, get out of here. What happened? A blunder, Mr. Naruhodo, though it pains me to admit it. What did you actually do to your hair? I'm glad you asked, Miss Sutato. What you see atop my head is neither dyed nor happy. What? It looks just like your other hair in terms of shape. I changed the color of my hair overnight. By the wonders of chemistry! Wait. So you drank something, went to bed, and woke up like that? Chemistry? I was conducting some research into a method of rejuvenating spent tea leaves. And in the course of my work, I stumbled upon a potion that, when taken, turns one's hair aflame like red. Would you like to try it? It will make every hair on your body perfectly crimson. Does that include my nose hairs? I think I'll pass. Like, imagine drinking it and then someone's like, why are your nose hairs all red? But Mr. Sholmes, is it quite safe to drink? Surely it's bad for you, isn't it? Hey, amateurs are always hampered by such fears. I should have never doubted you, Mr. Sholmes. You mean to say? But of course. I can't see the color red anymore. And £4 per week, one must be prepared to turn a blind eye to a little danger. That degree of red signals more than just a little danger, surely.
So anyway, Ellie left full of confidence yesterday with his new red hair. For the park on Lime Street, where the Red-Headed League were interviewing prospective new members.
So what went wrong? The whole park was choked with red-headed folk, like a coster's orange barrow. I queued for 8 hours solid before at last I reached the front. But when the panel of interviewers saw me, they immediately said, "Ah, Mr. Airlock Shoulder, are you in disguise to conduct an investigation?" Yeah, they know your natural hair color is blonde. So naturally, I had no choice but to reply, "Shh, don't give me away." After which, I could do little else but turn and leave. Then this morning, when I looked in the mirror, irritation stirred within me. So I turned that bird to the police. Wait. The two people in charge, those two people earlier, were they the ones who turned you away from the club?
Oh dear, what a disaster. For Early and those two redheads.
Ooh, phone. I think. Aha! Here's my guest now. My latest client with money!
Oh, I do hope it's an exciting case, Early.
Remember, Iris, we are at present gripped by the greatest problem known to man. Capitalism! I must be willing to accept any case, no matter how unstimulating. Save locating a runaway, of course. Like Kazuma? Don't spare anyone's feelings, will ya?
Oh dear. I'm afraid that Early can lack a little tact, especially just before the rent is due.
Oh! Oh hey, it's the jury lady who's also like into fanfic shipping.
Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Airlock Sholmes, please, oh please. Please find my husband, he's run away.
What was it you said about not helping with runaways? To upset me.
I beg your pardon.
Never mind. A personal matter. My apologies. What exactly are you trying to say, Mr. Nerdheader?
What? I didn't say anything.
Come, my dear madame, be seated. Iris, some tea if you please.
Of course.
Is anyone else going... Have we seen this lady before? What's the matter, Mrs. Sato? Oh, it's just that gentlewoman. I feel sure I've seen her somewhere before. Very recently. She was a jury member! Now that you come to mention it. I like her hair. Evie. Evie Vid... Evie? Is it Evie? Or Evie is like Ever Vigilant? Or Evie Vigil? I implore you to take the case, sir.
Money is no object. Simply name your figure.
Money and wealth are of little consequence to me, madame. Being offered a case to solve is reward enough. Whatever happened to I need money for rent?
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you are the picture of benevolence.
I will, of course, make a mental note of your offer, however, for contingent reasons. I trust you will remember your words.
If I might inquire, sir. This gentleman and lady would be...
me?
What I'm about to tell you, I should communicate in the strictest confidence, you understand?
Ah, these people are my friends. I assure you, you may say before this pair anything which you may say to me.
I see.
I can vouch for the gentleman personally. After all, he's hard of hearing. Why did I ever get my hopes up? I was half expecting him to go, I could also vouch for the gentleman. After all, he is my boyfriend. $36. Client who has engaged in services. Yes, great text. First things first. Look at my badge. Mrs. Vigil, would you mind casting your eyes over this?
Oh, my poor Daly. Where have you gone? What's become of you?
I'm afraid she's too worried about her husband to pay any attention. Either that or she just doesn't want to be bothered with me. Tell us about yourself. Forgive me for asking, Miss Vigil, but have we met somewhere before? Quite recently?
Oh my!
Pshaw, my dear fellow, what is your intention? Clearly you have no ability to differentiate the facial features of the English. If you wish to invite the lady to tea, you must do so in a more gentlemanly fashion.
Is it possible that you're the nice young lawyer from the trial I attended last week?
I knew I recognized her. You sure didn't recognize the porter at the hotel? Didn't quite recognize her because she's acting so differently now.
It must be very difficult for you as a lawyer. Being hard of hearing, I mean.
Pardon?
Oh dear, I'm so sorry. Don't worry if you can't hear. It was frippery.
Frippery? There was nothing really, maybe? Now look what you've started. I believe it would be prudent for you to sit quietly in the corner. Yes, sir. Right after I kick your ass. Tell us about your husband, madam.
Mr. Vigil, my daily
Vigil. Oh!
daily vigil is 40 years of age. I have a photograph here.
Curly hair. An entirely unremarkable gentleman, by appearance at least. That's mean. How long have you been married?
It will be 15 years this year.
How old are you? How old are you again? You were married at 14? Wait, no, my math. 24? Okay. Sorry, math was way off at first, because she actually did get married at 14. I was like, god damn!
We have a cordial relationship, and my husband's income is more than adequate, so we live quite comfortably.
As it would appear. I need only look at you to know these things.
Oh gosh.
Your dress is the latest style, your hat clearly regularly groomed, and your eyes are animated. In short, you have no inkling as to why your husband might have disappeared, correct?
That's right. He's a kind man with a strong sense of loyalty, and he rather dotes on me.
Which would point to the possibility that he has become embroiled in some incident or other.
Oh, that is exactly what I fear must have happened. I'm quite beside myself. My husband's employment is somewhat unusual, you see.
How?
What if he's incurred some miscreant's ill will?
What exactly is your husband's line of work?
He's a
warden? Like a prison guard? Oh, that's it. A guard. That is somewhat unusual. So, your husband is a prison warder.
That's right, yes. Well, in actual fact, he's the chief.
Oh! Indeed. I see. Well, chief prison warder certainly qualifies as something of a specialist occupation.
Yes, it does indeed. My poor husband must prepare those dreadful punishments. I see that they're carried out.
Wait. Excuse me. So he's the executioner or just the person who puts people behind bars? Dreadful punishments. Does she mean capital punishments?
And at such times, he must occasionally spend a night or two in the prison dormitory. But for that extra responsibility, he is remunerated.
Remunerated. I keep saying as remunerated, but it's remunerated
more handsomely than the other warders. Of course, we make no mention of my husband's work to the neighbors.
Yes, I believe your prudence is justified. Tell me, at what prison is your husband engaged? Is it the one where the prisoner, the professor dude, died? Called it.
Barclay Prison, Mr. Sholmes.
Really? Barclay? Oh, a fine establishment. If I'm not mistaken, there's a large cemetery just behind it. No. Logate Cemetery? The very place we were discussing in court? That's unbelievable. Unbelievable, my dear fellow, and yet undeniable.
Sorry, Mr. Sholmes. I'm afraid you've lost me.
Ah, pay no heed, madame. Pay no heed. A private matter. This can't really be a coincidence, can it? So, to the matter of your husband's disappearance. When did you realize he was missing?
Please try not to laugh. It was yesterday.
I'm sorry? Yesterday? It really is recent. Laughably She said don't laugh!
Truth is, my husband does at times have occasion to spend the night away for his work. It's not at all out of the ordinary for him to not return home at night, but this is different.
Okay, off topic. I like her makeup and earrings.
For him not to make any contact for a whole day, that has certainly never happened before.
Oh my dear Daily, whatever can have happened. My dear Mrs. Vigil, please calm yourself. Now then, have you contacted the police?
Why, naturally, but sadly, they refuse to listen to my pleas as my husband has only been missing for 1 day.
That's... Those cops. Fire them.
I was asked to wait patiently at home.
Because I feel like in I don't know, especially in modern day, like if it was some sort of white dude who was of a high position missing, and everyone would go like, oh shit, send everyone to find him. In truth, Mrs. Vigil, I concur with the police. However, let us not be hasty. I see no reason why we should not engage my deductive powers to track your husband down anyway.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Sholmes.
And furthermore, let me assure you, a chance to solve the greatest problem known to man for another month has no bearing on my decision. I will help you, and definitely not because I can't afford rent. I see going to put a sweet smile on another Londoner's face. That's really all there is to it.
You have my eternal gratitude. I shall pay any sum you care to mention.
You see going to put this sweet rent in your landlady's purse? That's all there is to it. Thank you for everything you've shared with us, Mrs. Vigil. I believe I have all the information I need to begin my investigation. Oh, please. Sorry, I love that little, where she bows down and sort of shivers, oh, please respond to me soon with good news, sir. Fear not, madam. In a day or two, I shall be contacting you with a heartening report, I'm quite sure.
So soon? Oh, how splendid, Mr. Sholmes.
Good news should be delivered early, I always say. If you'll be so kind as to leave the photograph of your husband in my possession. Thank you. Now, allow me to show you the door.
I can't thank you enough, Mr. Sholmes. You've been simply marvelous.
Hold on. Wrong thing. The whole, oh, he doesn't have any distinguishing features on his head, but that curly hair, that would stand out to me. Also, just noticing their hair color is the exact same.
You know, I think it every time, really. But how do you come out with such nonsense? Good news in a day or two. Are you sure?
I can't be sure, of course, but then I didn't swear on it. I merely gave the good woman some hope. I hope to be able to give her good news, one might say. After all, the rent must be paid at the end of the day tomorrow.
God damn, that quick!
Also, you're only now addressing it? If by that time I've successfully located Mr. Vigil, we shall be mutually relieved. If not... Why are you asking me? Don't look at me with those pleading eyes! Well, my dear fellow, did you hear the details of the case? Yes, my hearing is surprisingly good, actually. Excellent! And what did you make of it? I was surprised to learn where her husband worked. Barclay Prison. Ah, so you noted that.
Of course, especially with the mention of Lowgate Cemetery.
Beep boop bop boop beep boop beep.
Barclay Prison is where that notorious man was incarcerated.
professor. And now a warder from the prison has mysteriously disappeared, it would seem. It's all very peculiar. Indeed. But nothing you can't handle, I'm quite certain, Mr. Naruto. Sorry? Run along to the prison and see what you can glean. Would you? Why aren't you going? It's the prison governor you want. No doubt the man is equally worried. Wait, aren't you going to go yourself? No. Surely you needn't ask. I'm scared. Or that. Just wear a hat. I can't possibly be seen out with this hair. Also, this whole chemistry experiment you did with your hair, is it permanent? Didn't you go to Lime Street with that hair? That was a quite different matter. So I leave it in your capable hands. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm rather busy. Of course you are. Barclay Prison is on the outskirts of London, backing onto a lonely burial ground. Its four high outer walls loomed quietly before us in the fog. Having requested the meeting, we were shown to the governor's office in the watchtower. Whoop! Are you kidding me? That clock? Like, isn't that a workplace hazard? Also, that's a... I feel like that cage is way too small for that bird. What?
This place is full of hardened criminals. I cannot remember the last time a civilian was doing here. And you didn't want to talk to an inmate, but to me.
Oh, he big. Yep.
Do you know who I am? I'm the governor of Barricade.
Dick. Barricade. Kaiden? Is there a... Okay, I'm trying to figure out the pun in his name. If there is one. It's a pleasure. I'm Yunosuke Naruhodo, defense lawyer.
And an Easterner, I say. Does that mean...
Yes, I'm a... Wait, can I... Scottish? Irish? Oh god, I'm gonna fuck up the accents. I'm a visiting student of law from the Empire of Japan.
Japan? Did you say Japan?
Yes? Whoop.
Well, there's no any of your kind in here, laddie. Maybe you should try the prison next door, eh?
I didn't notice another prison next door, sir. Oh, he's racist too? I came to ask you some questions about...
I didn't like to be so direct, but... I've no intention of speaking with the likes of you suspect.
Can we just tattoo the words "I'm a racist" on his forehead? Or his chin?
Now get it with my hair.
Your white hair. So as soon as he finds out that we're from Japan, he reacts like this. That surely means... I think it's because of the professor case. You think so too? 10 years ago, Genshin Asogi, also known as the Professor, was incarcerated here. And then after his execution, he apparently re-emerged from his grave in the cemetery behind the prison.
I might have known. You'll still around about that case, aren't you?
Okay, at least it's not a gun he's twirling. Also, apologies for screwing up the accent.
Your ancient say, part of the professor's great web, no doubt.
No, we're just...
Get going with ya, before I punch your light suit.
We're going! Clearly the ghost of that killer still haunts this place. We're not gonna get anywhere here. Unless we can someone prove to this man that there's nothing suspicious about us. Governor Kaiden. What are you thinking? I feel sure that name came up in conversation recently somewhere. Mikotoba? I was wondering if whoever mentioned him might have some ideas to help us. Come to think of it, I have the same feeling. Hey, look. Okay. That's never happened before. That's Professor Mikotoba. Ah, hello you two. I was just taking a moment to catch up on the world now that I've unpacked. Where's the judge? He's not the relaxing sort. He's taken himself off to pay his respects to all the legal bigwigs. Having only just arrived in the country? Goodness, he's full of energy. Professor, you mentioned something before about, the prison governor at Barclay Prison? Oh, Governor Caden, you mean? It is the same guy. Father, we must speak with him. But he refused to talk to us. He said we were suspicious Easterners. Well, I'm sure if I accompanied you, it would be a very different story. Would you? Please? Sadly, as you can see, I'm very busy at the moment. You were reading a newspaper! Yeah, and busy reading a newspaper and drinking coffee. No, I have rather a lot to prepare for tomorrow, you know. Sorry. I didn't say that out loud, did I? You Mikotobas are alarmingly good at reading people's thoughts. They're mind readers! Or could it be that you Naruhodos are alarmingly bad at hiding? Let's not fall out now. I have an idea. What's he writing on that piece of paper? Here's the letter of introduction for you. Hopefully when he sees my name, he'll change his tune. Thank you. Let my daughter in or I will shank you! Sincerely, Mikotoba. Mikotoba has wonderful handwriting. This dark-suited young man is not the least bit Really? Could you just put down something like, oh, the lady is my daughter? Is it just me, or does that make me sound extremely untrustworthy? I do wish he'd at least called you a nice young man. I'm really not sure that would help. Is this a ticket? Some sort of... oh, steamship ticket. The SS Grouse, first class cabin, 01. Yokohama departure, the 11th of September. London arrival 1st of November. Oh, that's supposed to Mr. Mikotoba and Judge Jikoku Professor Mikotoba and Judge Jikoku came on from Japan. Yes, I think it's called at Dunkirk on the north coast of France for a night before finally arriving in Dover. I think it's been almost a year since we arrived in Dover on the SS Bordia. It seems a shame not to keep your ticket as a memento of your trip, don't you think? Yes, I agree. I have mine safe in my diary. And I keep mine in my wallet, so I have it with me at all times. Well, how strange! Where could it have gone? Are you like this on purpose, Mr. Naruhodo? Did I imagine it, or was that comment accompanied by a little sigh? Look at my badge! Can I at least show you this? Can I at least show the back of your head this? How many times can one man turn his back on you in a single conversation? And he turns around too. If you just cast your eyes over this, Governor Caden. What's this then? You cannot pull the wool over my eyes. Get for nothing. Mikotoba? That young jock from the forensics laboratory? That Mikotoba? Yes, exactly. Him. Oh dear. Perhaps I should have said something sooner. I'm Yujin Mikotoba's daughter, Susato. James! You're the young man's daughter? And you didn't think to mention that before? do apologize. Well, you best take a seat then.
Can I offer you a cup of tea, perhaps?
Oh, where'd that cracker go?
Or cookie? And didn't I forget to try one of those wee handcuff biscuits?
Did you make those yourself? Your father's influence is nothing short of amazing.
It's like Tobias Gregson and Iris.
I'm bitterly regretting not announcing who I was from the outset.
So then, what can I do for you, Hen?
Well, we're currently investigating a case. It's one of your wardens, you see. He's gone missing. Also, I think this guy's Scottish? Or oh god. I'm still screwing up the accents. Like, I can't do a good Irish accent, and if I try to sound Scottish with the squeaky voice, it comes out sounding wrong. Missing? That's right. It's surely been reported to you as well, being the prison governor. Did you just put the tea in your pocket? I haven't heard nothing of the sort. There's no missing persons in my prison. How can that be? It's Mr. Daily Vigil, your chief warder.
Vigil?
That's right. His wife came to us and asked us to investigate his disappearance.
Let's skip the part about him only going missing yesterday.
Clearly that means something. Would you be so kind as to tell us what you know?
Aye, of course. Seriously, this clock is a work hazard. There aren't even any hands in there.
This grandfather clock is fitted with a terrifying blade that keeps dropping down.
It's modeled on the guillotine.
A French execution device. You might have heard of it. I keep screwing up the accent.
You know what, screw it. And yes, afore you can ask, it can chop heads off. Havers no carrots and parsnips and so forth.
I keep screwing up the accent, but I keep trying to go back to it.
You place a large carrot at the bottom there in the morning. By evening, it'll have been cut clean in two. How do you get it out then?
Well, the blade must have an almost indescribable edge on it then.
Seriously, how do you get it out?
I suppose these are all former governors of Barclay Prison. Either that, or former inmates who the governor has sent to the gallows. Oh dear, they all have such severe expressions on their faces. I really couldn't deny either possibility. Especially the one on the extreme right. I can't make it out! His expression goes beyond severe into a whole new territory.
That one's me.
I'm terribly sorry, sir. Is it a prerequisite of the job? Having a severe expression, I mean? Oh, wow, dude.
Of course it's not. Although, it is taken into consideration. A lot.
An axe, a hunting rifle, and 4 pairs of handcuffs. That's a daunting collection.
There's a story behind every one of those.
You mean the rifle was a famous killer's murder weapon? And the axe was wielded by an infamous executioner? And the handcuffs were once used to immobilize a fierce 4-legged beast? I think you're in the realms of fantasy now, Mr. Naruto.
Not those kind of stories, Jimmy.
Oh! So I'm reminded of the, I think the Greasers, or the Age of, like, the Grease musical, where those guys would quickly whip out a comb. That actually was the one I used to chop down the cherry tree in my house. Mrs. Caden was not best pleased. Ha. And the cuffs on the left are the ones I caught my first burglar with back when I was a bobby. Stories were a little different to those you imagined, I think, weren't they? Yeah, to my relief, and in some small way, my disappointment. Bird! Bird! I never expect to find a parrot in a prison. It must be the governor's pet. Given where we are, it's hard not to see the poor creature as a prisoner. Yeah, especially in a cage that tiny.
You didn't kill me?
Oh no, do I have to cross-examine the parrot too? Did the bird learn to mimic the plaintive cries of inmates in the cells? Oh, no, he was one of 3 siblings, you see. And he still calls with the names of his 2 brothers like that all the time. Right.
You didn't kill me?
Aye, aye, I hear you, laddie. You want your dinner, eh? Didn't I do it? The first name is Didn't Do It. There's a very large cabinet full of papers. It's labeled inmate register. And all the files are in alphabetical order. That's 50 years worth of records of Barclays inmates. Whether or not they left alive after surviving their term. All the details about the crimes they committed are recorded in there. Like an epitaph, you might say. Also, I swear those handcuff cookies are just like cookies in the shape of the number 8. A record of crimes and punishments. How dispiriting. And yet, this man seems to be enjoying tea and biscuits as he talks about it. Also, that big chin. Okay, I didn't really watch a lot of it, but he reminds me of Armstrong from Fullmetal Alchemist. That deer's been staring at me for a while now. It has? The poor thing can't fit through the small hole in the wall, but it can't get his head back out again now either. I'm guessing Japan doesn't know about taxidermy around this point. It's giving me a woefully imploring look. It's not real, Mr. Naruto. It's stuffed. What? I mean, yes, of course it is. For a moment, I thought it was another assassin sneaking in via the ventilator. A deer? I don't like to say, but I think perhaps you need to reread The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Is there anything else here I can look at? I can't look at this. Okay, let's talk. We understand that Mr. Vigil is the chief warder here at the prison. Aye, that he was. Strong sense of responsibility and dedicated to the job, no doubt about it. He was a fine warder. Sorry, did you say was? Aye, he doesn't work here no more. He left the job. Oh my. When was this? There's a question. When was it about? It cannot have been much less than 10 years. What? 10 years? Did Miss Vigil get the name of the prison wrong? Like, instead of, like, my husband, I'm sorry, he doesn't work at Barclay Prison, he works at Tarbay. What? 10 years? He stopped working here 10 years ago? Aye, as I minded. Deakin, I haven't heard the fella's name in all that time. It's a worry if he's gone missing, though. Mr. Vigil made no mention of it. I think perhaps Mr. Naruto, his wife simply doesn't know. I think she's unaware that he no longer works here. Governor Kaden, can you tell us what happened? Why did Mr. Vigil give up his job? That's important, is it? Yes? What are you thinking, Mr. Naruto? I can't help but wonder, given that it was 10 years ago. Oh! Like, it's linked to the incident. Huh. Which was exactly when the professor was being held at this prison. So Mr. Vigil actually resigned from the position 10 years ago? What happened to make him leave? actual fact, he didn't leave the job willingly. He had no choice in the matter. You mean he was dismissed? Fired? It was after a particular walk. Sorry? Walk? Aye, that's what the word for it here. A walk to the gallows. Execution? It's the job of the chief warder to prepare the gallows tree and oversee any executions, you see. Only Vigil did something unthinkable in that last walk he was manning. What did he do? Thank you for saying my thought. I'm sorry, but I cannot reveal that information. Why not? But I can tell you that it's very rare for the chief warder to be relieved of his post. Why wouldn't Mrs. Vigil know about this? She appears to be under the impression that her husband still works here. I wouldn't care anything about it, I'm afraid. Can you perhaps answer one more question about the circumstances? And what would that be, Hen? That last execution that Mr. Vigil was responsible for... Was it by any chance... the professor's? My thoughts exactly. I'm sorry, I really am. But I'm not at liberty to answer that. I see. We're gonna have to get the info out of you in court, aren't we? My father came to Britain all those years ago to study forensic science. But you seem to have been well acquainted. The dead room, the prison, and the cemetery have a lot to do with one another. After all, they need fresh corpses for forensic research. Do you ken? Yes, I can imagine. The advancement of medical science isn't always particularly palatable. Your father worked in a laboratory just on the far side of the graveyard. In the basement of Saint Sinners. It's still in use today. Saint Sinners. Signers? Sinners? That's come up before. Yes, that's right. We've been there. Mikotoba and I have to use to ride in a carriage together and negotiate terms. For more fresh material? Aye. And we used to sit in here for hours and gab on about dissection and all sorts. Oh, takes me back. Over a pot of tea and a plate of cuff biscuits, of course. How charming. He was a good fellow, your father. Reliable and dead set on his work. But I'm afraid... Also, I noticed your scar on the eyebrow. I'll never understand you, Japanese. Why? Because of Genshin Asugi? Well... I wonder if he's aware of the scar on his head. I cannot tell you anything else. Thank you so much for your time, Governor. Oh, one moment after you're away then. He had an axe this whole time?! Yeah, sorry, I didn't notice it at all. I'm sure I have it in here somewhere. Ah, found it. Here, take this as a wee souvenir of your visit to the prison. What is it? That's Vigil's dismissal notice. It's 10 years old now, of course. Oh my, are you sure? Aye, it's no trouble at all. It's not the original, mind. Thank you! Chief Warder relieved of his post with immediate effect, violated Clause 132. All rights to redundancy pay and other financial benefits are revoked. Aiding and abetting the escape of the... He helped him escape? Details of the escape are being investigated. Full cooperation will be expected. Indications are that the jailbreak plot was conceived prior to the incarceration. Convict engaged in some sort of negotiation. Full disclosure will be demanded. Well, in their return, Come back for tea and biscuits. Do me a favor and never come back here. That case is closed. Well, I think we ought to return to Baker Street for the time being. Yeah... I wonder how Sholmes is gonna handle this news. What will he tell Miss Vigil? We're back! Tadaima! Hello, you two! Oh, wrong person.
I thought you'd be back before long, so I baked some scones.
So that's where the delicious... What the fuck?! Okay, what chemicals are you experimenting with? Also, I think the blue works a little better. Like, it matches your eyes. Greetings, my dear fellows! You returned a good deal sooner than I was anticipating. Are you blue dabba dee dabba died? Hi, Mr. Sholmes. Hello, Mr. Say nothing. You're sorry in all of your faces in any case. I wonder if he's saying that in like, hello, Mr. Sholmes. Why is your hair blue? Do not mention it. It turns out it may have been advisable to test my hair color restoration tonic before application. Oh my. Pray tell me, what of our warder friend? Have you garnered some new information? Something very surprising, in fact. It's not a patch on your hair, to be honest. It most certainly isn't. Still, we discovered that... Oh! Drop everything, Sholmes! This is more important! Gina? Oh, I can't animate it! What happened? Yeah, that's what I want to know. Clearly a grave matter indeed. For Miss Lestrade made no mention of my hair whatsoever. Did you want her to? It's the boss. Gregson? Oh no! The boss is... What?! He just found his body. What? My thoughts exactly! But... Inspector Gregson? He was murdered?
No, not Gregsy.
Please tell me this is some sort of prank. Come in, my dear girl. Tell us the whole story. Talk to me! Are you serious? Inspector Gregson was... He was really shot?
I don't know much about what happened myself yet. They're still there, investigating the scene.
Where did this take place?
A little rented room in a building full of flats on Fresno Street.
The outskirts of town. Nowhere near his home. He was perhaps investigating a case then.
The thing is, no one at the yard knows nothing about no case around there.
What? So was there... Maybe there's some sort of incident there that was kept secret except for Gregson? How strange.
The boss was... He was so good to me. I know I ain't up to much yet, but... One day I was gonna show him. I was gonna show him how to become a proper detective. Oh, Jenny.
So, who did this? Do you have any idea who the culprit is?
They got him already.
Really? Maybe culprit was the wrong word for it. Maybe they found a suspect. They caught the shooter so soon.
A witness reported something was going on, and the boys got straight down there and took care of him.
Who? What awful person did this?
Oh, I still can't believe it myself.
Gina?
It was the...
What? Van Zeeks, you mean? Wait a minute! You don't mean they arrested Lord Van Zeeks?
That's right. That Reaper bloke's gone. And shot the boss.
Wait, no way.
This had to be Lord Strongheart set this up somehow, right?
Are you quite sure, Miss Lestrade? Is Bragg Von Zeeks the police have arrested?
I saw him with my own eyes in the interview room at the yard.
I don't believe it.
But there were witnesses. And they're all saying it was him.
So you mean there were actual multiple witnesses?
They heard the gunshot, apparently.
Wait. I vaguely remember something about Van Zeek saying that he never carries a gun. He mostly uses a sword. I don't know, I might be off.
And when Outlaw got to the scene, there was only the boss and that Reaper bloke in the room.
There's no way Lord Van Zeeks would have taken Gregson's life. I just don't believe it.
I don't believe it either. I want to hug Gina!
Thank you for informing us, Miss Lestrade. This really is most terrible news. I'm dreadfully sorry.
What are you saying sorry for? You didn't do nothing! Well, anyway, I'm taking a cab over to the scene right now.
Take me with you!
Please! Yes, I'll go with you!
It's a detective's lot to appear wherever some sinister plot has unfolded. Little wonder we all took a look haggard. Sometimes these things are almost too much for the nerves. Mr. Cholmes?
What use is there being a great detective if I fail to see something like this coming? How can I let this happen to Gregson? To Gregson!
Mr. Naruto, I shall leave at once to begin my investigations.
Yeah, we're going too!
It would be helpful if you could talk to Mr. Reaper and see what you can glean. I'm sure you were intending to do so anyway. Until later, then. Inspector Gregson, dead, and Lord Van Zeek's arrested.
Bruno! Susie! I've called you a handsome. He's waiting outside.
Thanks, Iris. Shall I, Mrs. Sato? Yes. Are we seeing Van Zeeks first?
Oh, there he is.
Kick the bars! Your legs can do anything! So it's true. He really was arrested. Wait. Who's the prosecutor going to be in this case? Is it going to be Lord Strongheart or... Oh my... Wait. If it's Kazuma Asogi... Oh boy. He's sitting with his back to the wall, reading something. I don't think he's noticed us. Lord Van Zeeks? Fancy meeting you here. The last place on Earth I'd like to be, but the last person on Earth I'd like to see. That rhymed. I couldn't very well not come. We heard what happened. That Inspector Gregson was... Go home. This has nothing to do with you. It does now! But... Forgive me, Lord Van Zeeks, but I must disagree. Inspector Gregson was very helpful to us on a number of occasions. Oh yeah, I remember that. What about that Morse code paper we got at the end of the first game where it was like Tobias Gregson, Kazuma Sogi, John Wilson, and A. Shin. Inspector Grace notifications. We're indebted to him. At the very least, we owe it to him to find out the truth about his death. You must help us with our investigations, please. There's really nothing I can tell you. Were we just reading at the back of the cell there? Was it related to the case? This? The Yard isn't quite so cavalier with his information as to share case details with the suspect. This is a letter from an old acquaintance. Care to share?
Who might that be?
Someone you know, as it happens. Hairbrain? Yep. Of course. I keep forgetting they went to the same school. I would like to read my correspondence in peace, so let's get this over with, shall we? What is it you want to know? Strange. I mean, let's face it, Lord Fantique never minces his words. But they seem to have less bite than usual somehow. I mean, he's behind bars, so maybe that's one of the reasons. Can you at least tell us your side of the story? How much do you already know? Nothing? Like, I just came straight here. We know the inspector was shot dead in a small rented room on Fresno Street, and that you were found by the police when they arrived. We were told there was nobody else in the room and that witnesses heard a gunshot. Then you're well informed, and there's really nothing I can add. The truth is, I don't know what happened myself. The gunshot? You didn't fire it, right? I'm not in the habit of shooting the people I work alongside. I also heard the noise. However, before I had a chance to investigate, I was apprehended by the arriving officers. So he doesn't actually know what happened. If I might ask, what were you doing in that place to begin with? It's all linked to the professor case, isn't it? And that's the reason you're not telling me! After all, you're not representing me. I will be! He's going to need a lawyer, though. Who's going to be representing you in court? Anyone other than you, I should imagine. Hey! Would I be right in assuming that you have no representation as yet? At this time period, would he be allowed to represent himself? Like, I'm not sure of how well he'd do with it, but if that was an option, would he do it? Defense lawyers shy away from any trial involving the Reaper, as I'm sure you know. But this is different. In my career, of all the defendants I've prosecuted, only 19 have ever been acquitted. 19? Of them, 16 subsequently died in mysterious circumstances. Questions will be asked now. Surely not. I assure you, no defense lawyer will want to touch me with the end of a barge pole. You didn't actually have anything to do with those people's deaths, right? It's been 10 years now that I've been known as the Reaper of the Bailey. Believe me, nobody wants to know the true identity of this killer more than I. However, it seems things may come to a head before I have the chance to uncover the truth about it. What does he mean by that? Share the letter! After the trial, Professor Harebrain was supposed to go straight back to Germany. It's a letter to inform me of his safe arrival at home. I arranged his passage by sea and rail. It's a relief, I must say. You shall now be beyond the reaches of the Reaper. Because the Reaper doesn't follow people abroad, you mean? Yes, so it seems. Your stooped little... Knockity knockity! Friend, for example. He told me he was keeping well in Japan when I inquired the other day. That's right. He's an author now, happily working in Tokyo. So Professor Harebrain is safely back in Germany? He is. So it appears our conversation has run dry. There was a 2-second silence, that's all. Well, in any event, if you'll excuse me now, I wouldn't like to detain you. I was wondering, Lord Van Zieks, if you'd like, I'd be happy to advocate for you. You trust me, do you?
Yes.
I've heard you speak many times in court. I've seen how you treat people. So I'm quite sure that you would never have taken another's life. It's just, my feelings can't be used as evidence in a court of law, sadly. It's a very gracious offer. However...
Did you take an apprentice, though?
I trust no one. Huh? Not the police, not the judiciary, and not you...
Nah, neither end.
But please... I have no intention of engaging your services. The chasm between us is just too wide and too deep. I'd appreciate it if you don't visit again. Then neither of us will waste any more time.
Who's gonna defend you then?
Perhaps we need to dig a little deeper.
Get back here! I'm gonna reach through those bars and squeeze my way in!
Find out more about Lord Van Zieks and what happened to Inspector Gregson. Oh. This really is an out-of-the-way part of London. I doubt many people find their way down this back street. So this dust-ridden rented old room is where it happened. So this is where poor Inspector Gregson lost his life. And the police are already hard at work investigating.
Is that a hair? Is that a red wig I see there?
I don't see Mr. Sholmes anywhere. Perhaps his investigations have taken him elsewhere.
It is a... Boy, what do you think you're doing there? Every one of them drawers has got to be taken right out of you, right out so you can look underneath and all. I want the space above the ceiling checked, and don't forget to look inside the chimney stack too. Blimey, ain't you lot never gone over to an house looking for dough when the owners are out of town?
Gina's obviously got some unique investigative techniques.
Hey! So you've turned up at last. Mind you, I ain't been here long myself.
Hi again, Gina.
Is Toby here? Sholmes has only just left. You're lucky I missed that. I'm prancing around in here, pointing at stuff and flicking that out of his dense just scuppered.
He's finished investigating?
Yeah. He didn't stop to say nothing to no one. Not even me. Would you mind if we investigated too? Listen, Otto. You're a lawyer, right? Yes I am. Well, you're not thinking of trying to help that Reaper bloke, are you? Oh, bollocks, She's never gonna forget, is she? That trial will haunt her forever.
Gina, if you don't mind me saying, if Lord Van Zieks really is responsible for this crime, he will be duly and fairly judged in court.
I mean, haven't we gone through almost 10 cases of the judiciary system in this universe not being duly and fair? I suppose you're right, yeah. Go on then, Otto. Get investigating. I want to know the truth about what really happened here. Thank you. First things first. Okay, red and a toy? So I suppose this is where the victim... That's right, the rope was laid around the body to show exactly how it was found. Poor Inspector Gregson himself has already been taken away. And would probably be under Dr. Scythe's scalpel by now, if not for what happened last week. From the shape of the rope, it would appear that the inspector was curled up in a ball. Looks like he was...
It looks like he was shot in the front. Are you feeling alright? You look like you've just seen a ghost. Kind of, yeah. I know it's just a rope, but it conjures up quite a terrifying image. Excuse me. Especially with that blood stain next to it. Oh, I do understand. In some ways, what we picture in our minds can be even worse than reality. Susato-san is so strong, though. She's taking this far better than I am. Ever since we came in here, I can't take my eyes off this thing. Funnily enough, neither can I. It's a hairpiece, isn't it? It is! A bright red hairpiece. And I suppose the fact that it's right there next to where the body was found means we have to accept that Inspector Gregson wore either Inspector Gregson or the killer or maybe someone who witnessed it. Like, we don't know. And it's such a flame-colored red, too. That's a color we've come across very recently elsewhere, isn't it? Exactly. This is a vital clue, I'm sure of it. Presumably... We don't know yet! What the underside of a hairpiece looked like. I've seen a lot, like... I used to be pretty big into cosplay, so... This isn't really news for me. You always want to see what lies beneath, don't you? I'm not sure that's quite how I'd put it. You must have to use lots of bird lime to keep it in place on your head. Bird lime? Like a... Like some kind of oil? So it doesn't get blown off in a gust of wind. That might be a little inconvenient when you wanted to take it off again, don't you think? What's this? It would appear to be a little model policeman. It's rather charming, isn't it? In a way. At a crime scene? See, it's on the floor here. Do you think it belonged to Inspector Gregson? It's a little hard to imagine Lord Van Zeek's playing with something like this. It's only about 8 centimeters tall. Could have fallen out of someone's pocket. I think we should record it as evidence, just in case. So it's like Army Man sized? I'm a filthy, dirty American, so my knowledge of the metric system is ass. It's rather delightful after all in a way. The helmet of this charming policeman appears to be a little worse for wear. I'm not convinced about the charming part, but yeah, you're right. The head part looks like it's been fairly heavily manhandled. Almost as if somebody had enjoyed twisting it around and around. Or maybe they used it to bash someone over the head. Granted, it's very tiny, but you don't know. Shall we try twisting it around and around too? For fun. Oh! Whoa! It's a weapon! It appears to be some sort of key. But it's tiny. It couldn't be a key for a door. Not of that size. What's it for? A safe? Kind of, I don't know, almost looks like a key to a music box. Wonder if it's one of those Morse code boxes. It does. A very tiny and simple key. What's the little key doing inside a figurine of a policeman in the first place? Also, I'm just noticing it comes out between the officer's legs. What's it for? Like, insert dirty joke here about the key. This is presumably the murder weapon, then. It is real, I suppose. I think so. Guns are so rare in Japan. I really know very little about them. Just want me to know for sure. No! We're not firing a shot! Exactly. I did that, I'd be looking for a skilled lawyer to represent me in court. Slightly safer just to ask someone whom I know. Probably best to avoid handling it, you say. Let's handle it now! I suppose this must have been the murder weapon. Wait. Wait, is this the exact same conversation? I was trying to look at the little dangly thing on the end. Top of the one, the candles has been completely blown off. There's wax splattered on the wall. I suppose if a bullet had hit it. It does seem likely the bullet hit the candle, having first passed through the inspector's body. Ugh. Now that wax on the wall looks like blood to me. So, I'm guessing someone was on the floor, they shot, like, the killer shot Gregson from lying down on the floor, and the bullet went through him to the candle? Black marks here, look. They look like some sort of scorch marks. So perhaps a bullet struck the candle. It's only this one candle that's been cracked in half. Yes, I think you might be right. Firearms are rarely used by criminals in Japan, so I'm afraid I'm not particularly knowledgeable about them. Somebody's very haphazardly nailed those boards over the broken glass. I couldn't even really call it a window anymore. Well, if you remember the window in Mr. Natsume's room, that was totally blocked up with bricks. This one at least let in some light, so you could say nothing more about it. I'm starting to feel even more sorry for Mr. Natsume. Hello? Excuse me. If you're looking down on us from the great beyond, Inspector, don't worry. We'll look after things at the yard. Interrupted some deep thoughts there. Wait, wrong thing. Excuse me? Sorry, sir. Can't see a thing, sir. Too many tears, sir. Right. Perhaps I'd better leave you to your work then. This looks like some sort of notice board or something. It's absolutely covered in scraps of paper. This is not how to look. This, you mean? It's an autopsy report, isn't it? Oh, it's one of those billboard. It's one of those, like, I don't know what it's called, but it's like in that meme of Pepe Sylvia, where that guy has the wall covered in papers and string. It's that. Diesel prison inmates. In fact, they're all the sort of documents that only detectives can normally acquire. What else went on in this room? Several newspaper cuttings. And this one here. Oh yes, the advertisement. To the Red-Headed League. Why? What's that doing here? Whoever occupied this room was clearly interested in it. Excuse me? Oh, Inspector. Oh, sir. Poor man. He can't possibly be able to focus on investigating when he's so upset. Inspect the fireplace! An empty fireplace makes your room feel even colder than it would be. Is there something in there? It's thick with dust. Look. I think it would be fair to say it hasn't been used in a very long time. In other words, whoever lived in this room must have been extremely cold. Or nobody lived here at all, and merely visited when the occasion arose. I wouldn't like to say which is more likely. Nah, that's right. It's one or the other. It's a photograph stand. I suppose we'll see a picture of one of Inspector Gregson's family members. What's the matter? Your eyes look like they're about to pop out of your head. Show me! Oh! Why do I feel like this woman is... Ryunosuke, Ryunosuke, you dumbass! Of course she's familiar. We met her just this morning. It's Mrs. Vigil. This makes no sense. Why would there be a picture of Miss Vigil in here? To be frank, I don't think I've ever been more stumped. I'm sorry to say, I have no idea either. Is there anything else for me to look at? Okay, I guess I've looked at everything. Let's talk! What's Inspector Gregson doing here? That's what I want to know. It's what? Half a year since I got out of the clink? That's when I decided to give up me diving and become a detective instead. Right. Mr. Sholmes twisted the inspector's arm to take you in. Something like that, I think. Anyway, the point is, I didn't really know much about the boss till then. But it turns out, he's a bit of a legend at the Yard. Goodness, really? It's because of Iris's books, aren't they? They say he managed to solve some really tricky case, just like that. He did. Yup. And ever since then, he started going out on all sorts of investigations, but always on his own. No one else at the Yard even knows what half of the cases he's working on are, apparently. That's not how it's supposed to work, is it? What's the legendary inspector doing in a dingy little room like this? Maybe he was gathering information for something? I know he had a lot of respect for the Reaper and all. And look what that landed him! Respect for the Reaper? I heard him say as much. I take my heart off to the fella. Where his words? Not how the general public feels, is it? Most people are terrified of the Reaper. Yeah, the boss said that's exactly why he respected the bloke. I didn't realize Gregson held the Reaper in quite such a high regard. He said something else to me and all. That I didn't need to worry about the Reaper, cause he only goes after people who are bad. It did kinda set my mind at ease when he said that. Right. I feel like... Can Toby be a therapy dog? Cause the way she was crying, like she really needed a hug, and I feel like Toby could have provided some comfort. What is this place? Does anyone live here? Apparently it's been rented by some cove called Hugh Boone. Huge boon? Like a huge favor? Hugh Boone. It's a sort of here today, gone tomorrow name, that, isn't it? Yeah, he's what we call an unidentified person. We haven't been able to get in touch with him. I see. Well, judging from appearances, I have to say his place hasn't been lived in for a long time, if ever. Right, all the lads from the Yard piled down to get stuck into the investigation. But there's so little here, no one knew what to do with themselves. I do wonder. Yes, Mrs. Sato? Well, could it be that this Hugh Boone is in fact Inspector Gregson himself? Oh, he was renting in the room in disguise? Well, if he was investigating on his own, it's quite possible that this was in fact some kind of secret office of his. I never even considered that. Nice work, Suze! We're actually following a line of inquiry like that ourselves. You are? If you look around the room, you'll see. There's a few things that hit at it. We should really investigate this place in detail. We just did. I see that's where the poor inspector was found. Over there. Yeah, that's right. He said it was a single bullet what did him in.
Apparently the bullet went right through him and struck the candle tree on the wall. Oh yes, it's blown one of the candles apart. And the gun used is there on the floor. It's the Reaper's in it! No denying that. Really? How do you know that? Take it easy! What? I don't know what to do with myself when you start me with them big wide eyes. I'm only saying what I've heard. I don't know much about guns myself. But there's some bigwig lawman or whatever who said so. Why don't you ask him? Bigwig lawman? Anyway, Fresno Street runs along under that window there. There were some street sellers just outside who had the gunshot. But I don't recall seeing anybody outside. Yeah, they've all been taken down to the yard for questioning, that's why. We're talking about the yard's legendary inspector here, after all. They'll be getting a grilling. Do you think we might be able to speak with them? I doubt it. Lots of the yard will want to know what you're snooping for, and you'll be up for a grilling and all. So we can't interview the witnesses then. Shame. Oh. What was it? Evidence? Or something else? About what? No, not exactly. Only been long enough in the job to get all this deduction business yet. So I'm gonna get the person who did this to the boss. I'm trying to see if maybe I can get more info. Or, like, I think I've already inspected everything. Chill if they're not in position to talk yet. Terrifying. So I saw that I don't believe we visit here in such time, and maybe that's a hint. You've made good time. I took an express train back to London. I can hear Lord Strongheart. Can you? Yes, it sounds as though he's talking to someone. Ah! Are you going to be the prosecutor for this case? Is everything in place? I had a private compartment on the train so I could check all the paperwork. It's Kazuma-sama. Hello, birds. Your timing is impeccable. It is? No doubt you have heard the sickening news about the Reaper's latest devilry. Yes. I'm sure you don't believe it, of course, though, Lord Strongheart. That Lord Van Zeeks could have done such a thing to Inspector Gregson. I believe only in the facts. The facts in this case point to one thing. The unavoidable accusal of Lord Van Zeeks for this crime. We must bring charges against the Reaper for taking the life of our legendary detective. Surely not. It's a truly regrettable situation. Tomorrow, the Forensic Science Symposium finally begins. At the very least, though, we can show the world our justice system's swift and equitable processes. Equitable? You sure about that? So does that mean the trial's tomorrow? Precisely. In fact, this is a fine opportunity for introductions. Hey! Kazuma. I stand by what I said last time. He's freaking ripped under that uniform. But of course, you're already acquainted, aren't you? Mr. Asogi here will be present at tomorrow's proceedings. Leading the prosecution. I freaking knew it! Wait. Nani? Kazuma.
As I'm sure you're aware, he's a very capable practitioner of law. Yeah, but wasn't he trying to become defense? Kazuma-sama, a prosecutor? Get out of my way, I want to talk to him! Sorry for all the worry I've caused you, but I'll be alright now. Has your memory completely returned? Yes, completely. I remember everything. Including what I was coming here to do. A career change? Right. Kazuma-sama. I can't tell you how happy I am to see you alive and well like this. But how did you come to be here in London when you were suffering from amnesia? It was the voice. This past year, I've been hearing it in my head constantly, saying the same thing over and over. Go to London! That's where your destiny awaits! It was that voice that guided me here to London. I'm so sorry for what's happened. Sorry, I just noticed he's dual wielding now. He has 2 swords. Anyway, my memory might have returned to me. There's something that won't return in the way it was before. Huh? What do you mean? I'm a prosecutor now, so I'm sure our paths will cross again very soon. You're not gonna explain why? Also, I'm just leering in the background. I'm sure you can imagine that tomorrow's trial will be closely followed all over London. In fact, no, people all over the Empire will be watching closely to see how it unfolds. Sorry, I'm just distracted by Kazuma's outfit, and like that belt is like Yu-Gi-Oh level of fashion. Still though, like, how do you take? Is that kind of belt easy to take off, like when you go to bed? There's no salvation for anyone in the trial prosecuted by the Reaper the Bailey, and now the Reaper himself must stand in the dock. And his apprentice is the one throwing accusations. The public wants answers about the Reaper. Answers about how and why those who escaped conviction subsequently died mysterious deaths. But Lord Van Zieks firmly denies any involvement. There have been thorough investigations that have proven him to be innocent. That's certainly true. Or it has been, at least. Until now. Sorry, I'm just now realizing, maybe the reason, like, Kazuma has the fancy belt now, like, the 4/2 belts, because now he has the 2 swords. No, tomorrow's trial. Birds! will mark the start of a new chapter in our country's great judicial history. So, Kazuma will be prosecuting? That's right. But he's a defense lawyer. Accomplished young law practitioners cannot pick and choose their roles. Maybe he's sort of like one of those versatile, like he could be either one. And imagine what it would mean for the prosecution to know the strategies commonly employed by the defense. Oh! A devastating combination, wouldn't you agree? Hell yes! I've no doubt at all that Kazuma will be razor sharp as a prosecutor. But why Kazuma-sama? There are surely many other highly skilled prosecutors here. It was a personal request. Is it because I'm here? You asked for this? Why? It'll all become clear tomorrow. Why not clear it up now? I'm guessing you intend to stand for the defense, don't you? Although, the Reaper appears to be turning down all offers of representation. I'm surprised such a personal request would have been upheld. It seems unprecedented. Quite exceptional, in fact. You are quite right, Miss Mikotoba. Tomorrow's trial will be unprecedented and exceptional in every way. After all, the accused is one of Britain's greatest prosecutors, pride of the Empire. It would be unwise to give the public a reason to perceive it as the judiciary closing ranks. So that's why you're having to let a foreigner handle this. Ryunosuke, let's see how your skills have been honed. After practicing law in this land for so many months. Can I at least get a sword too? Not yours, but do you know any British sword makers? Kazuma, I don't get why you're being so hostile to me now. This isn't gonna end well. His profile... Sorry, the profile picture is... It's so weird seeing him like this without the headband. He lost his memory, but now his material is prosecuted in British courts. Oh yeah, we know there was a gun at the scene of the crime. Do you know if it belongs to Lord Van Zeeks? That's... Either I haven't seen that animation in a while, or he's never done this before. That'll be a question for the lead detective investigating the scene. Thing is... She wasn't sure, so she told me I should ask someone higher up. That's right. Mr. Naruhodo, be direct! It's certainly a model that's issued to all personnel involved in law enforcement, yes, which includes prosecutors, as I'm sure you can imagine. In that case, it could actually have belonged to the victim. No. Gregson had his gun on his own person. What about Lord Van Zeeks? He claims it's currently not in his possession. Where? According to his story, he lost it. In short, it's more than a little suspicious. But just because the gun in question is the same type, it's no proof that's actually his. No, of course not. Nevertheless, the situation is grave for Lord Van Zeeks. It doesn't look like we're going to glean much here. Thank you, Lord Strongheart. Remember, tomorrow's trial will go down in our Empire's history. There's much you could learn from the public gallery. Now fuck off! Sorry to have taken up so much of your time. We'll see ourselves out.
Hold it!
Hey! Hey! Before you go, Ryunosuke. What's up? I just wanted to thank you. Kazuma-sama, what? You took my determination to heart and brought it with you over the ocean in my stead. And you carried out my role to perfection. We always were intent on studying British law in order to change our own justice system. It was your dream, and Mr. Naruhodo didn't want that to die with you. Yes, but I had another purpose for coming here. I actually have a favor to ask. Which is... This trial will be prosecuting tomorrow. I'd like you to be there to see how it ends. Right in front of me. As a defense counsel. What's this all about? I know you have what it takes. Lord Van Zeeks would never put his fate in my hands. On the contrary, he recognizes your talent. He does? It's not easy to see behind the facade sometimes. Ooh, picture. It's so weird. This looks like he's trying to force himself to smile. That's Lord Van Zeeks and Inspector Gregson. And a photograph that must have been taken some time ago. Who's the third person? I'm pretty sure that's his brother. It was displayed very prominently in the detective's office. In Gregson's, you mean? Yes, what I'm trying to say is, if you really think you can trust the Reaper, you might find that some straight talking makes him take a different view. Take it. I don't understand. Why are you giving me this? Just hurry. Visiting hours of the prison are almost over. What are you doing? Okay, I'm gone! Fan 6 is still reading. It's been gone quite some time, though. Either he's an incredibly slow reader, or it's an incredibly long letter. Or Harebrain has horrible handwriting, and he's been trying to read... I might be able to read English faster than he can. I heard that. I was intending to ignore you entirely. But I can't turn a deaf ear to such an insulting... Sorry. I didn't think you'd hear that. I had the case notes brought to me in secret. I was reading them to pass the time. Can you share it? We heard that your trial is set for tomorrow. Which is none of your business. So, have you found a lawyer? How many times must I reiterate the same thing? This has nothing to do with you. In other words, no. We were just talking to Lord Strongheart, and the prosecutor for your trial has been decided. I'd expect nothing less. But I have no idea who it is. Do you want to know? It's going to be Kazuma Asogi. Asogi? I made the color drain from his face. His whole face is already gray. Well then. It seems I'm going to have to engage in conversation with you again after all. Suck it! 10 years ago, my older brother, who was the director of prosecutions at the time, was murdered. And the killer, as you know, was a visiting student from the Far East. Not a single day goes by when I don't curse the name Asogi. Genshin Asogi was Kazuma-sama's father. So what cruel twist of fate is this now, 10 years later? The man's son is to crucify me in some kangaroo court. I still don't understand why Lord Strongheart apprenticed Kazuma to you. It's what he does. No doubt he knew of the young man's true identity from the outset. But what could he have been hoping to achieve? And let's not forget that it was only 8 days ago that Kazuma recovered from his amnesia. Why would Lord Strongheart assign this trial to somebody like that? Asogi. That name is the very epitome of my brain. I imagine this whole thing was just like a huge fuck you from Lord Strongheart. The bane that is you, Nidoking. Right. Your hatred of all is Japanese. I'd only been disappointed as a prosecutor when it happened 10 years ago. My brother Clint, the director of prosecutions, was hunting down a mass murderer. The so-called professor, assigned to the investigation as his partner, was a certain visiting student dispatched from Scotland Yard. And that was Genshin Asogi? Exactly. I developed a deep respect for the man. He seemed noble-minded and chivalrous to the extreme to me. But none of us saw the true nature of the man. So I lost everything when it happened. My esteemed brother, the people I believed in, and any semblance of right prevailing over wrong. How awful. To avenge my brother, I prosecuted Asogi's trial. It wouldn't ordinarily have been allowed, but I beleaguered the ascribed prosecutor until he consented. What do you mean by the ascribed prosecutor? You got down on your knees and started crying, "Please let me prosecute!" The man in charge of the professor case inquiry, Lord So this is a giant FU to you from Strongheart? Like, maybe Strongheart wanted to prosecute, but then you went up to him and was like, "Let me do it instead!" Wait, what? Lord Strongheart? He was a highly accomplished prosecutor, but he agreed to relinquish the trial to me and act as my advisor instead. Well, sounds similar to what happened with Ryunosuke in his very first trial. Since that time, he's the only person to whom I felt indebted.
I'm sure he must have seen your zeal for the case and recognized your potential as a prosecutor.
Anyway, time passed, but then earlier this year, we should arrive in London, but you... Me? And of all things, as a lawyer.
I felt your animosity the first time I faced you in the courtroom. Your obvious deep loathing of us Japanese.
I kept telling myself it was illogical. But for so many years, that hatred has festered inside me. I can no longer control it. I am a tragic racist. And I can understand why now that I know the history. But in the same way that I've long felt the Nido Queens to be the bane of my existence. To Kazuma Asogi, I am the bane of his. The Reaper who sent his father to the gallows. He's looking for revenge, and he intends to take it in court tomorrow.
Gregson's transfer to the Paris Police Prefecture had finally been arranged for the coming month. But he'll never make it to France now. It's a tragedy. Yeah, come to think of it, he did mention that. Yeah, he did, and it was like, don't tell Gina about this. Does it happen often? Being transferred internationally, I mean.
It's the first time I've ever encountered it.
Oh. The Paris Police welcoming an English detective is almost inconceivable. I can't imagine what kind of magic Gregson must have worked to put that arrangement in place. It sounds like the mystery has even the Reaper perplexed. I'm afraid to say that we were very ignorant about Inspector Gregson's standing. We hear that he was considered something of a legend at the Scotland Yard.
Again, it was 10 years ago that he first made a name for himself. By uncovering a decisive piece of evidence that exposed the professor's identity. If it wasn't for Gregson's singular approach to the case, the discovery would never have been made.
What kind of approach?
After my brother's life was taken, the inspector pushed for a full autopsy.
Oh my, 10 years ago? Why is that so surprising? Everything happened 10 years ago!
Autopsy was considered a desecration of the body at the time, and rarely performed. And my brother was of course a noble. That made the idea of it even more unthinkable. But something Gregson had dug up in his investigations made him determined it was necessary. His powerful conviction somehow influenced the House of Lords, and as a result, I could avenge my brother's death.
So, you must have had great confidence in the inspector's abilities then. And it's even more inconceivable that he would have taken his life.
I don't have confidence in anyone.
Oh.
And I'm sure Gregson felt the same way.
I thought I'm this Reaper. I don't know, dude. I have a photo that says otherwise. What really went on between Lord Van Zieks and Gregson, I wonder? What was the true nature of their relationship? Last thing. About the gun used to shoot the inspector.
Ah yes. That's not mine.
Really? Because common opinion seems to be that it is.
What do you expect me to say to that?
Lord Strongheart informs us that you claim to have misplaced your firearm.
As embarrassing that is, I'm afraid it's true. When did you lose it? That, I don't know. I was issued with a revolver when I first became a prosecutor 10 years ago. I must have stowed it somewhere, I suppose. Or left it somewhere, perhaps. The courtroom?
We have something in common with Lord Sage after all. Hey! Talent for misplacing things. No, this has nothing to do with me! Don't drag me into it! Don't make the mistake of associating me with this... nitrogen! I keep running out of words that start with N, I'm sorry. The rift is very wide, isn't it? So it's not decisive evidence, clearly. But it doesn't look good, that's for sure. Before I present the photo, can I do this? That's something I want to ask your opinion about, that's all. serious crime for the defense, to attempt to extract information from the prosecution by illegal... You're not prosecution, though! Alright, I get the message. I don't see what's illegal about me asking. Lord Van Zieks, you came by this old photograph. Where did you get that? It was taken when I became a qualified prosecutor. It's almost unbelievable. I assumed it was long lost. Is a man on the left here? Yes, that's my brother. Clint. It had to be, really. Apparently this picture was prominently displayed in the Gregson's office. He had a deep respect for you, you know. Were you aware of that? Respect? Nonsense. No, we heard someone attest to it very clearly. Can we drag Gina in here? Well, maybe once, yes. There was a time things were like that. We were brothers in arms, jovially discussing the future of justice and other lofty subject matter. That was a nice glimpse of the past. I thank you. I feel as though I got a nice glimpse of the past then, too. There was a glimmer of light in his eyes. A brief twinkle. An insight into the truth of this true nature of this man. Mr. Naruhodo. Oh! That's the first time he's ever used my name. I've lost all confidence in my country's justice system. I don't trust the police, the judiciary, or lawyers. But there's still one thing I'm willing to believe in. Me? What's that? That's what you see in the eyes of another across the courtroom. A simple determination to know the truth. Lord Van Zieks? From the very first time we clashed in the Bailey almost a year ago now, I couldn't deny it, even though I dearly wished I could. Here's a loathsome... who has absolute integrity as a lawyer. There are only two other men I've known with that same look in their eyes. My brother, Clint, and Genshin Asogi. The man he idolized and the man who betrayed him. When you showed me that photograph just now, it reminded me. You mean this? Back then I was able to laugh. I was free of the shackles of mistrust that plagued me now. I look to the future with hope. Since then, I've protected myself against betrayal by refusing to trust anyone. But at times, the mire into which I've sunk makes it almost impossible to breathe. I'm so sorry. So, Mr. Naruhodo, I want to believe in that look in your eyes. I need to believe in it. In tomorrow's trial. Will you advocate for me? Yes! Of course I will. It'll be an honor. I'm so pleased, Mr. Naruhodo. And my life is in your hands. For Lord Van Zieks, that must have been an incredibly hard thing to ask. Which is why I simply cannot let that man down. Tomorrow, in the Old Bailey, against my old friend Kazuma. Oh boy, next time it's gonna be rough.